Whether we recognize it or not, we cast our votes in favor of grading, rating, and ranking nearly every day. We expect our children to be quizzed and tested, to receive grades for their performance, and to be sorted into class ranks. We expect them to sit for exams that purport to rate their aptitude and achievement. And we expect them to carry permanent records not only across their schooling experiences, but also into their professional lives. Sure, we worry about their stress levels, stay up late helping them, and lament their disappointments. We grouse and grumble about cramming and grade-grubbing and the orientation toward tokens rather than learning. More often than not, though, we encourage them to play the game. That's because a real school, we collectively believe, gives letter grades, preps students for high-stakes tests, and maintains permanent records. Sure, there are some exotic alternatives that embrace divergent assessment practices, but they're the exceptions that prove the rule. And even in those cases, when students get ready to apply for college, they generally need to sit for standardized examinations and produce transcripts with letter grades. Assessment, like death and taxes, is a misery to be endured. Most of us believe this because we've never experienced anything different. Once upon a time, letter grades were introduced into our schools. Long ago, the first standardized test was given. And before any of us can remember, the transcript was born. Yet generations have passed since then. And because most adults spend more than a decade in the education system before sending their children to school, we develop particular views about what is normal. Expecting young people to have the same experience we did, we end up replicating the past, even as we complain about the present. Alternatives exist. In the United States and abroad, schools have developed different approaches to grading, rating, and ranking, many of which are familiar to us. Pass-fail grading, for instance, is something that many of us have experienced, as is the so-called narrative report card, which replaces or complements letter grades with a written account of student progress. But none of these, on its own, can hope to displace the existing approach to assessment that limits and constrains student learning. If any of these alternatives were sufficient, it would have changed the system by now. So, what can be done? If past efforts have failed so badly, what chance do future efforts have at success?